Now, of course, one thing we have to talk about are the contribution levels. So there are 3 contribution levels, meaning when you make an update to a listing, you have priority based on who you are. Now, Amazon retail is always number 1. The brand is always number 2. And then everybody else is number 3. So, and even if you're brand registered, your contributions, if Amazon retail is involved, is only ever going to be 2nd place. So that can be another, that's probably down the rabbit hole a little bit of the discussion, but that is one thing that inventory file templates can help. If you can't update, get a little complicated. So let's back out. But if you are your priority, so brands have a 2nd priority. Hopefully you have listing control. If you do not, flat files can help be a way to update your listing until you can get control. So
having control means that any changes you make to a listing will be accepted, right? That's what control is.
In general, yes. But like I said, Amazon retail is always number 1. So even if you have control, if there is a contribution from Amazon retail, and I should define who that is, that's
Right.
basically the vendor central side of things, or anyone who has sold through vendor central, sold your products through vendor central, or Amazon just jumps on the listing and they take control. So you're always going to be 2nd best to Amazon.
Yeah. I mean, this is so good to point out, because you have Seller Central and you have Vendor Central. Vendor Central is where Amazon is the customer, and then whoever is the brand, they're selling to Amazon. And then Amazon creates the listing, and then they start selling. Now, where things get complicated is that vendor to Amazon one day says, you know what, I'm going to sell it directly now. So now you've got a situation, because the listing has already been created and there's no control. Amazon has full control over it. So how do you take? So that's one scenario, right?
Right. And that's a really big one. And I know it affects a lot of sellers because you don't have that control to update the product information that you know best. You have no ability to change the images, change the bullets, change the search terms, and so on and so forth. So one of the things that you end up beating your head against Amazon with is that control. And typically trying to go through seller performance is very, very difficult and very frustrating and can take a very long time. So actually the flat files, or the inventory file templates, which are also called flat files, as well as feed files, as well as just feeds, using those are like my best way of avoiding seller performance in general. If I can possibly avoid having to go through that cycle, and seller performance representative after the other, using the flat files is by far the best way.